If you see these signs, keep moving ahead. You're on the right path. There comes a point in every man's life where the world gets quieter. Not because the noise has ended, but because something inside you has changed. The people who once praised you are gone. The honor that once moved your steps now feels void. And the cheering, it dies, just like the dream it always was. And still you rise, still you walk, still you pick silence over approval. Why? Because now you're walking the path of truth, not comfort. Seneca once wrote, "If a man knows not which port he sails to, no wind is helpful." But when you do know where you're going, the storms become teachers, the struggle becomes fuel, and the silence, it becomes holy. We don't judge growth by ease. We judge it by staying power. So if you find yourself doubting, breaking, falling into loneliness, that's you're dropping your former skin sign. You're dropping your old skin. You're outgrowing the version of you that once begged for attention. Marcus Aurelius said, "Just do what is right. The rest doesn't matter." You'll notice people moving away. You'll feel unseen. But we don't bend for comfort. We bend only for the weight of truth. There is no crowd on this path, only shadows, only echoes. And the steady spirit of those who know the right path is often the loneliest one. But if you still wake up and keep going, if your heart still picks discipline over pleasure, values over fame, depth over distraction, then listen closely. You are not lost. You are becoming. You start feeling apart from shallow pleasures. There comes a small, almost painful change, where the things that once thrilled, you now feel worthless. The cheap quick hits, the empty wins, the endless distractions. They no longer feed you. They tire you. You begin to want depth instead of noise, calm instead of mess. You no longer seek proof from the outside because you've begun the fight within. Epictetus warned, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." And so we must unlearn. Unlearn the lies we've been told about what success looks like, about your being cleaned, what pleasure should feel like, about what it means to truly live. When you begin leaving small things, when movies start to bore you and comfort begins to annoy you, you are not broken. You are being shaped. That's not emptiness you feel. It's space. Space for something greater to start. You begin to draw silence, not attention. There comes a point on the right path where noise dies. You stop wanting awards. You stop explaining yourself to those who don't know your silence, because you've seen silence is not absence. It is skill. The world loves the loud, but the wise man knows the storm that moves in stillness. Seneca once wrote, "Spend time with people who are likely to better you. Welcome those whom you are able to better." As you walk forward, you'll find fewer people around you. Not because you're losing them, but because you're finally walking in a way they cannot follow. It's not loneliness, it's rising. If you feel the gap growing between you and the world, don't turn back. Keep walking. You're not becoming cold. You're becoming clear. You no longer react. You think. There's a small but powerful shift that happens on the right path. You stop reacting to everything. Not because you've become numb, but because you've become wise. When someone insults you, you don't rush to save your pride. When life throws trouble at your door, you don't shake. You stop. You breathe. You watch. Because you've learned that power doesn't yell, it watches. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you act on it that matters." This is when you know you're no longer a slave to feelings. You're guided by logic. And in that moment, when you can look at the storm and stay still, that's not weakness. That's control. That's strength. That's the sign you are becoming unbeatable. So if the world feels heavy, if you're walking alone, misunderstood and doubted, good. That means you're growing. Now is not the time to turn back. Now is the time to look inside and rise. We are not here to be liked. We are here to be steady.